I'm Tom Campbell from Cultaholic.com, joined by the yeast of hearts and minds, Adam Pacitti. We are ready for a weekend of wrestling-based shenanigans, sir.
I was expecting something bigger, Tom. So you really pushed the boat out yesterday with the big hand. I was expecting like a dildo or something to plop down on the table.
It's peaks and troughs. It's peaks and troughs.
All right, okay.
That's how we roll.
I didn't mean to put your intro down, by the way.
I was quite
it's
happy
a Friday.
With the globble, glab meme reference. Thank you very much. I had that idea at 3 o'clock this morning. You can shut up. Here's some news. Some SummerSlam matches have been pulled, and we've got the reasons why. An update on NXT coming to TV. And AEW have laid out their pay-per-view plans for the next 12 months, and we'll get to that too. All jokes aside, Adam Pacitti, are you ready for the biggest party of the summer?
I can't wait. I'm actually quite excited about this card. Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, wasn't that into it. Now, there's one match that I don't care. 2 matches that I don't. 3. No.
Actually, say to him, I'm not bothered, mate.
There are two. Seth and Brock, I'm not that bothered about, and Ember and Bayley. But other than that, I think it's a really strong card. I care about Dolph Ziggler and Goldberg. There, I said it.
Wow, what a boy, what a boy. The show was meant to be much longer than it was, and as we all know, WWE don't half love a long pay-per-view, you silly fellas. Thankfully, they've changed their minds on this a little bit. They've pulled it back slightly, and we've got some of the reasons as to why some matches have come off the SummerSlam card.
That's right. So there's 10 matches now, which is quite short for a SummerSlam.
Which is it's actually palatable. Like a 10 match, it's like somebody would once give you like a full chicken as a dinner, and now they've gone, here's just 3 chicken breasts. Don't know what sort of chickens have 3 breasts. Only the ones in my dreams. Talk through some of the matches.
I hate you. So the 4-way women's tag match that we saw on Monday Night Raw was pulled simply because it wouldn't get the time that they felt it deserved, which is a really nice reason for pulling a match. Don't get me wrong, there wasn't a lot of storyline build there at all. It was just a match to get the belt off of one team and onto another team. Fair enough, whatever. But that's really good, isn't it? Isn't that good?
I think in the current climate, to say we're only taking you off the pay-per-view because we want you to have nearly half an hour's worth of wrestling, that's wonderful. That was apparently something pushed by Paul Heyman.
Good.
Which is another side of this wonderful relationship that Paul Heyman now has with the WWE. The Sami Zayn and Aleister Black reason for coming off SummerSlam, not as positive. So we'll tell you what happened here. You know how Vince McMahon's new favourite hobby, apart from flexing his muscles and singing sweet nothings to himself in the mirror?
Eating meat wraps.
What's a tortilla? What's a burrito even?
Nailed it.
Nailed it. His other favourite hobby these days is just walking into writers' meetings and tearing everything up.
90 minutes before the show this week.
Can you imagine?
Poor bastards.
Oh, God.
Here he comes to ruin our work.
You'd see him coming towards you. From the distance, you'd be like, oh, lads, hide your homework. Here he comes.
It's like me going up to Owen's PC upstairs going, no, I don't like the font on that. And then just, boom, delete. Control-Alt-Delete, shut down.
Can you do that today? That would be funny.
Well, yeah, I'll do that.
Film it, it'd be amazing. Yeah, so Vince McMahon likes just ripping up all the writers' hopes, dreams, and plans for a show very soon beforehand. And there was this past week where he ripped up SmackDown to shreds, but realised he left himself an hour short and decided, oh, we need to fill the gap. Just get Sami Zayn and Aleister Black on now. We'll do that tonight.
You know what? The reason for him doing so, because he is a nutter. but the match I don't think should have happened at SummerSlam, because I don't think there had been enough storyline build there. I was happy to see it on SmackDown. It got a bit of time. It would have felt like the odd one out on the SummerSlam card. That said, Aleister Black should be on the SummerSlam. This is WWE's fault, essentially, for not booking stuff and writing a story leading up to SummerSlam for Aleister Black. He was on Extreme Rules. He's not going to be there on Sunday. That's a shame. Do better.
I don't mind, like, major guys missing pay-per-views.
But this is one of the big 4. I think this is different.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't mind major guys missing pay-per-views, but SummerSlam, Mania, Survivor Series, Rumble, you want your big up-and-comers on those cards, really.
We have 10 matches now. Rumour has it that there is a secret 11th match. A bit like when you play Mario and you jump up into the top and you'd run along the top and you'd find a secret warp pipe.
Warp zone, yeah.
We found a warp pipe to match 11, which apparently, there's the microwave, which apparently is Drew McIntyre versus Cedric Alexander.
I don't want to see that.
I genuinely couldn't care less.
No.
'Cause I think when you tantalised us with Drew McIntyre versus The Undertaker possibly for SummerSlam, and it's like, no, we're not getting that, but don't worry, you're getting Drew and Cedric instead.
Love Drew, love Cedric, don't care at all. Put it on the pre-show. There's one announced match for the pre-show, right? You got the Cruiserweights. I don't know if it's even announced. It's gonna be.
Yeah, of course it'll be.
But,
Drew main event. Drew Gulak, only looking main event of the pre-show.
Deal.
NXT. Not my words. The words of somebody who's forgotten how to spell next. And also the words of NXT fans around the world when an NXT show does a start. And how about NXT doing a start on a television instead of a network, Adam Pacitti?
Totally fine with it. It's a
Are
great
you
show.
though?
No, wait. I'm fine with it. The premise is fine, right?
Okay.
NXT going to TV. It's a brilliant product. More people should be watching it. What I don't like is the detail here. So, according to the latest Wrestling Observer, NXT moving to FS1 is essentially a done deal. This will mean NXT TV going from 1 hour to 2. And that's where the problem... Paul can do it. Trips, Big Daddy Trips can do this. He can pull this off. He can pull this off. It's just a concern, isn't it?
It's a concern because suddenly now when you're putting it on TV, not only are you extending the programme, but then you become subservient to a whole load of different paymasters for the TV because you're then looking at ratings and looking at figures and looking at retention. And suddenly then, this is where Vince McMahon would have to go, well, I don't want Vince McMahon walking into an NXT writing room 90 minutes before a show and going, no! Killian Dane is winning the belt tonight. I'd be down with Killian Dane winning the belt, but I don't want that for NXT. NXT it's a badly kept secret, but if you see what I mean, in the sense that it's its own little dichotomy. And the idea of it falling so in line with Raw and SmackDown, I think just you run the risk of ruining that magic that comes from it. And it's really sad that we live at a point as wrestling fans where the prospect of NXT moving to TV makes us feel a bit sick. I think anybody messing with NXT in any way makes us feel a bit uneasy. Anytime anybody gets called up now, we go, oh God. Anytime they say, oh, Vince McMahon's in Orlando, we go, oh no, don't go to NXT. It's like the little brother we're desperately trying to protect.
I agree. It's such a beautiful, concise show with real thought put into it. Everybody has a story. Everybody who is featured on regular TV has a story. It's not going to last for long if Vince gets involved, is it?
If Vince gets involved, that means he'll be at shows. And I don't know if I want to live in the world where Mauro Ranallo is having lines fed from Vince.
No. This is apparently going to directly be in competition, counter-program All Elite Wrestling when they start. They start, of course, on October 4th, 2019. So the idea is to get them to TV, to get those fans who are invested in this style of wrestling, the sort of work rate-based wrestling show, but with great storylines too that I think we're going to see in AEW. The idea is to pull eyes away from AEW, put them onto NXT, a WWE owned brand. That makes sense. That's just competition. I don't really have a problem with that. That's sensible to me. I just don't want to see it go 2 hours.
We'll put 90 minutes at a push. If 30 minutes of that is a Johnny Gargano match, that's fine. Talking of AEW, talking of less is more, how about this, my friends? There will be only one more pay-per-view from AEW for the rest of this year after All Out on August the... Sorry, am I interrupting your invisible weightlifting again?
Got my shake weights.
I've seen a gif of that on the internet.
It's all I do, Tom. It's my go-to, my one-trick pony. And singing.
He runs a company. AEW has one more show after All Out on August 31st, and then in 2020, they've only got 4 pay-per-views.
The Big Four. I really like that. I really, really like that because you get excited about pay-per-views then. Remember feeling excited about pay-per-views, as we do with NXT takeovers. That's the best example of that. Yeah. We had, I guess, 5 this year, but still, it's enough of a build that you think, oh yeah, that's cool, that's coming, rather than, oh no, there's another one.
Rather than the gargantuan 12 that they've given us lately.
The Clash of Champions, the Extreme Rules, they're fast approaching.
Smackville is nearly here. Oh great, I'm giddy. In other AEW news, there's going to be more programming on TNT as well. Now obviously they've got the TV show starting, but what they want to do is reintroduce that Turner Network television audience, because a lot of them now are old or dead. Remind them of what wrestling actually is. So there's going to be a lot of AEW based programming on TNT in the build-up and around like some of the big 4.
Sure. So talk me through this a little bit more. What do you think that these will involve?
I think we'll have, before October the 2nd, there'll be like a 1-hour special which will kind of set the stage for AEW. I think potentially they might even just have like a streamlined version of All Out that plays, where you can just watch like a few of the key matches. They'll do something in that time slot, probably the week before. I think they'll want to establish a consistent listenership, viewership even, in that time frame beforehand. So I think there'll be like a little introduction to AEW the week before. I think as well I'm trying to think of whether or not they could do it. They'll probably do some sort of weird crossovers with other TNT type shows. I don't know. I'd love to be able to name you all the great shows that TNT has, but I can't.
Just some cross promotion with wrestlers popping up here and there and everywhere.
I'd love that.
Where do you get the jackets on? I don't know how I didn't see it earlier. Where do you get this? It's really nice.
This is Marks and Spencer's.
It's lovely, isn't
velvet.
it? It's a bit Hugh Hefner, but I like it. I come dressed as mustard today.
Is that how excited we are by the news today that we're now discussing each other's jackets?
It caught my eye, and I could not mention it because I think you wore it last week.
I've got now like 3 jackets that I keep hung up upstairs.
It's beautiful. Shall we talk about Joe Hendry? Congratulations to Joe Hendry. He is heading to Ring of Honor. He announced this last night on Twitter. Thoughts?
Joe Hendry makes things better. He can wrestle, he can sing. Joe Hendry makes things better for Ring of Honor Wrestling.
He's done it! Joe, he's done your job for you. You'd have never thought of that, Joe.
I know, right? No, genuinely, this is really exciting for Joe Hendry. I'm a big fan of Hendry. Just not only a cracking wrestler, incredibly charismatic performer, lovely guy too.
Nice bloke.
Lovely bloke. So it's nice. And also with Ring of Honor as well, I think the pairing might end up working really well. I think there might be there's certainly some chemistry between them two. I think Ring of Honor, it could take Ring of Honor in a slightly different direction with somebody like Joe Hendry there. I'm excited to see what Joe will do there.
Totally. He's the most sort of goal-driven man that I've ever met. He's so sort of focused on exactly what he wants. He wants to get to here, to here, to here. And he nails all of them. Every single time he says he's going to do something, he just goes and does it. He's, as you say, charismatic. He's got a great look. He's a good wrestler. He's got a lot, isn't it? I'm really, every time he pops in the office, it's just like, you handsome mother. He's a proper man. I think he's younger than me, you know.
Oh, I don't like that. I hate that
so much. But congratulations, Joe. You're fantastic. You're gonna nail it, obviously. From all of us here at Cultaholic. Good job, local hero.
We love your local hero. I do not have an outro. Here's Adam Pacitti plugging the Patreon.
Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.